literature. Next is research methodology selection. So choosing the methodology that you are going to follow in order to be able to answer or achieve any given objective in your study, that is at the heart of your research. Because if you were able to perceive the question, the research
Mm.
gap, but then you were not able to address it properly, then again there's a problem, isn't it? So in order to be able to significantly, sufficiently and efficiently be able to answer or address the objective that you had set, what you have to do, you must be able to choose a credible methodology. So why methodology matters? Because it is the backbone of any research project. It shows how you will answer your research question, in what way you will answer your research question, and how relevant it is going to be, how efficient it is going to be, how reliable your answers are going to be, or your findings are going to be, to address the objective that you have set for yourself, right? So credibility of the results, the kind of results that you have obtained, will vastly depend upon the methodology that you followed in order to obtain them. Your method should also be reproducible. That means what? Any method that you follow, it should be sufficiently described in your report, in your thesis, in your manuscript, so that if anybody else would want to take up the same objective, maybe to address the same question in a different environment, then what you have to do, you have to make sure that your methodology can be adapted. The methods, the instruments that you have used, they should be very clearly defined. Also that the specifications has to be defined, and the chronological order in which you have taken up this methodology has to be also defined. It should also be relevant to your research objective. It should not be like, the objective is something else, but then your results are speaking for something else. That should not happen. There has to be relevance between the methodology that you are using and the research objectives that you have set. So if research is a journey, the methodology is your travel plan. Without it, you risk getting lost. It is much like going to a jungle, to a forest. If you don't have a map of your of the forest that you want to explore, it is much like you have more chances of getting lost in the forest, isn't it? But then if you have a trail map, if you have a map of this forest where there are camping sites, where there are fruiting trees, where there are springs and things like that, where you will get drinking water, where will you be able to enjoy a nice swim, then what happens, you get it's much like a trail, isn't it? So research is also similar. You cannot wander around in a forest without any map. You have to have a map. So what are the common beginners mistakes while you are choosing a methodology? There's a confusion among many, as to what is the difference between methodology and method. A methodology is an overall approach, how you are approaching in order to address a given objective. That is what we call methodology. It is a combination of all the methods that you are using, all the techniques that you are using, all the instruments that you are using. If there is any specific season that you are studying, then everything comes together and forms a methodology. It's an approach, how you are approaching your objective to clear it or to clarify it, to ultimately reach your objective. And then comes methods. What exactly is methods? It is specific tools or techniques that you are using. If you are using more of laboratory methods, or you also have some field data, or if you are bringing in field data and processing it at your laboratory, maybe modeling, maybe trying to study what amount of vulnerability a given environment is exposed to, and things like that,
Mm.
then that is all method. These are the small small parts and parcels of your approach, that is of your methodology. Different methods that you use in your study come together to form an approach. An approach is a way or the path that you take in order to reach or attain your objective, simply speaking. So methodology is a broader aspect. Methods are simpler and minute details of your methodology. Then choosing method based on convenience, not suitability. Often what happens, okay, I cannot really operate a software, but I can collect field data. My laboratory also has all the instruments that I will require. So I will base all my approach or my methodology only on field data. So this is what we call convenience. But if you go to see, going to field and collecting data is more not really convenient, isn't it? You have to plan, you have to really go there, laborious activity, a lot of brain also goes into it, brain simulations as well goes into it. But then why am I still saying that it is still convenient? It is essentially because we don't know a skill, maybe operating some software where we can model the data that we have acquired. So choosing convenience, choosing something that I already know and doing it, it might not always be suitable in order to achieve my objective, right? So choosing a method based on convenience, solely convenience, that is also a common mistake that beginners make. You have to explore new ways which are state of the art in order to be able to, fit your finding into the available into the already available knowledge base, to consolidate that subject, or to be able to efficiently answer the question that you have taken up. You have to find such a methodology that suits your objective and that finds the best answer and most acceptable answer for your objective, or to address your research gap. Copying others methods without adapting to their own questions. So there was this I love to tell this particular story to all the participants anytime we talk about any methods. So once what happened is that one group approached me and they told me that they would want to study the sediment yield in a watershed basin. And to which I told them, yes, I will definitely help you with the methodology. But then for a longer duration I could not attend to their query. So they were also in a little hurry in order to complete their final year project. So what they did, they went to Google and went to YouTube, where already one video was available on how to use Rusle model in order to derive sediment yield, and they ended up using it. Now the problem with this particular approach, wherein there is maybe a video available, maybe there's already a methodology that is well known to you, and you directly use it blindly, what the problem here is, the approach or the equations or the model that might be used in a given study might not really be efficient or in solving your answers, because you are lying in a tropical region. The study was taken up for maybe a subtropical, maybe Arctic, or such kind of environment. Maybe for an arid region it was, so in a different climatic zone. So that is where the problem comes. What you have to do is, you have to ensure that you know the environment very thoroughly. What are its physical characters, what are its chemical characters, what are the problems that can come up, what is the topography of the study area of your environment, what are the different components that that your environment is made up of, and only then you will be able to assess any given method whether it is suitable or not. So what I would suggest you, find different methods that are state of the art and find the most suitable among them. So rather than just finding one solution, find multiple solutions and find which is the one that is going to be the best for your objective. Now how do we choose between these approaches? first we will try to see which are the different types of researches available out there on a broader context, right? So we have qualitative and quantitative and mixed methods kind of research on a broader aspect, I'm saying. Otherwise there are empirical as well, there are also mathematical researches and things like that, descriptive are also there. So there are different types of types of researches, among which qualitative and quantitative are the most purest one. And often we don't restrict ourselves to only qualitative or quantitative, we also use a mixed kind of method where both, that is qualitative as well as quantitative kind of researches, come together to be able to answer our objective. Everything is boiling down to solving the objectives that we have set for ourselves. So when it comes to qualitative, this is essentially where we try to answer why a certain thing is happening, right? Or what is driving a certain change, or essentially what is the meaning behind a given problem that the environment is facing, or the research problem that you are trying to address. Now in quantitative, you are essentially dealing with values, data, the parameters that can be expressed in terms of values. How much of value, how much of threshold, in what percentage is going to affect the environment, whether in a positive or in a negative way. That all is dealt with when it comes to quantitative research. Now most of the researchers are often qualitative as well as quantitative, that is wherein we try to describe what is happening with the environment, as well as we try to also quantify which parameter in what threshold is affecting the environment. Because let's say for example, if we are trying to understand mm, let's say we are trying to understand urban heat island effect, right? We are trying to study urban heat island effect for different climatic zones. This heat island effect is going to be different. So you have to identify threshold, at what temperature, let's say at what temperature a heat wave notification is given out by the meteorological department in that particular country or in that particular region. So these are the background ideas that you need to have, and you should also be able to express them in terms of quality as well as quantity, that is in terms of threshold as well you should be able to express them, and also in terms of what are the different descriptive criterias that are affecting urban heat island effect, that as well you should be able to discuss in this mixed methods. So, mixed methods are increasingly common in environmental research because complex issues often need both numbers as well as narratives. So, we need to build a story not merely based on the perceptions and the descriptions, but also based on the thresholds and essentially statistics.